Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. Glad to be with you tonight as we talk about the human side of sports, and I work on methodically proving that Skip Bayless is, in fact, one of the lizard people. Let me bring in my co-host, as always, the slimiest guy in sports, Dan the Dick Warner. How's it going tonight, buddy?
Great, sir. Thank you.
Glad to see you. And let me bring in our helping me produce this evening and also sitting with us as a guest, my good buddy and a gigantic pain in the ass.
I'm done.
I'm just trying to help you, man.
No, you're good. You're good.
Josh,
I've got to be better.
So, what's up, guys?
No, I'm real bad. I'm real bad about when I'm on these shows. One, popping in when I'm just producing. Two, not letting the producer produce when I'm not supposed to be.
Josh, please pop in whenever you want to. Just for the record, we're totally in with any kind of pop-ins.
And just a second. Okay. So I wanted to start tonight with an interesting thing and get your guys' thoughts.
Tony, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Josh isn't aware that we smoke marijuana the entire time on the show now. He hasn't been watching or producing for long enough that we always have it going just as like kind of a secondary advertising thing. Yeah. And he doesn't understand that. So it's fine. He doesn't have to if he doesn't feel comfortable doing it. But I'm just saying, like, he should probably know that this is what we do.
This is what we do. But no, I saw an interview this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. Richard Sherman did an interview and said that he still thinks that there's interest and that he might play this year. What do you guys think?
What's he smoking?
My thoughts exactly. Yes.
Not to disrespect, mental health issues. Obviously, that's one of the things that we talk about, and it's important to take care of. But no,
he's like Deshaun. No. This year, I'm sorry, buddy. No. You're not playing this year. Go work out, figure out all your mental health stuff. Get ready for next season. But
that's actually
somebody will take a 6'2", 230-pound free safety. Is what they will take. They will not take a corner. They will take a 6'2", 230-pound free safety with great instincts, who's still a good NFL player. He can definitely contribute. He's a leader. Fuck yeah, I'd love to have Richard Sherman
next season.
As a strong safety in 2022.
Yes.
So, and that brings me into the segue because I thought this would, might make it a little more interesting for the next part of this topic. With Tua getting hurt yesterday, there is some speculation that Miami might try to see if the NFL will let them use Deshaun Watson this year if they were to trade for him. What do you think about that? You think that will happen?
Fuck! I just dropped him in my league last week.
Tua going down
that bad. Like right. Back up, like, he would have been putting up the greatest numbers ever with Houston.
Tua, and with Tua going down, I expected the rumors to pop up. Like the second I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's going to happen. But do you think so? First off, do you think that the league would intervene or put him on the exempt list? Or do you think that they would be like, all right, yeah, we kind of understand on this one. We're going to let this go because it's still pending. And, he'll probably have to serve an 8-game suspension at the start of next year.
Yeah. This actually brings up someone was talking to me about, well, could Deshaun start next week if Trevor, if our other guy can't play?
If Tyrod, yeah.
I'm sorry, my name's not working right now. It's just not. If Tyrod can't play, could Deshaun? This is the thing. Deshaun it's not Houston that's telling Deshaun he can't play. It's Deshaun's choice to not play right now. There's nothing holding him from playing. Houston probably has a reason. Yes, it wouldn't be a good look. But where all of this is up in the air, there have been players to play a NFL game with a lot more up in the air, with it being a lot less wishy-washy than what we've got right now out of these holes. Some of them are fishy, bro. Not all of them. No.
So, hold on.
What other player had 26 sexual assault?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
I'm sorry, I didn't know there was one like that.
Ray Lewis is playing with murder charges.
That's a
fair
argument.
Yeah, and I was wondering if that was where you're going to go with it, because you're not wrong. He did play while he was under investigation for murder.
Was it like this though?
And I should probably preface, I'm not trying to compare like that. I'm saying there have been players to play with pending charges.
No, it's a valid comparison though, because murder is a very serious thing. And when we look at the Deshaun Watson case, ultimately no charges have been filed. So this is really just 22 civil suits.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. There's and again, I'm not condoning, I'm not saying that he should play. It's fucking hot here. But what I am saying...
Hey, I'm a fan of you, Seven. Get it? Gotcha.
Fuck you.
Let's keep the puns to Punisher. Let's keep them there.
I'm the pun master.
The pun mat. Yeah, no, she would take you to school.
She would destroy you. I know it.
She would. She would destroy you.
I don't know about that, guys.
But okay.
Pun me and you.
Do you think so? Obviously, yes. Ray Lewis played with murder charges potentially, but obviously that was also a different time.
Yes.
And with the way, like with the Me Too stuff and the way that everything's been looked at with that type of allegation.
Thank you.
Because that's what it is at this point. It's allegation. Is the NFL, because I could even see, social media putting, trying to put pressure on advertisers and stuff that if Deshaun's going to play, that they shouldn't be willing to advertise on those games.
And what I was going to finish with is, if it were to happen, I do believe the NFL would step in and put him on the exempt list, and he wouldn't be able to play. But at this point in time, there's nothing holding him from playing other than his own choice.
I think that the NFL went to Houston and said, "Hey, look, if you guys try this, we're going to put him on the exempt list. He needs to be healthy scratched." I have a feeling that they sat down with all of them and said,
"Guys, if this did happen, exempt list aside, if they actually were able to just fully prove that he sexually assaulted 26 women, that motherfucker needs to be in prison, not alone on an exempt list, right? We can
yes, absolutely.
Also, which one's worse? I have a question for you two. Which one's worse? Ray Lewis murdering one person or Deshaun Watson actually 26 times sexually assaulting women?
That's not even a question. It'd be Deshaun Watson, but
Deshaun Watson.
And that's the thing, OJ's proof that murderers can be rehabilitated, but it's a joke for Norm Macdonald there, and rest in peace. Count it. Oh god, but
man,
I think that there's no question on that one. That is 100%. Deshaun Watson's on the worst end on that, and that's why I think that I think somebody in the league sat down with Houston, Deshaun's agent, and they were like, "Look, if you guys want to try this, really want to try this."
And if you say they're trying to petition the NFL, I'm betting they went to every owner and GM and being like, if you trade for him and you try to play him, he will be put on an exempt list.
Yep. And that's the thing is any of these teams that were interested, Denver, Oakland, Miami, there's another team that said that they were interested.
You don't think that
not Seattle,
would rather start Deshaun Watson right now than Teddy Bridgewater?
Oh, exactly.
Watch football. It's not even a joke.
That's the thing.
New Orleans, you think New Orleans Saints wouldn't rather play Deshaun Watson over Jameis Winston?
Or as Seven would say it, Jameis Winston.
Sorry.
It's Jameis.
Jameis.
Jameis, the word. I've told him this 4 times on there. We can actually rewind.
I listen very little when he's talking.
James, it's mostly just him trying to recover from what I'm about to say. Trying to spin it the correct way. This is mostly what the show is. Welcome, Josh.
There's too many teams that could benefit from Deshaun's abilities for him to just be sitting in a healthy scratch right now without some intervention of the league going, "Hey, look,
So,
and I think that because on the exempt list, like he gets his guaranteed money, but that's it. If he's a healthy scratch, isn't it a smaller amount?
He's getting 10 mil. That's all I know. He's getting 10 mil.
Deshaun Watson is getting every bit of his contract right now.
Yeah.
He's
getting every single bit.
There's no anything to his shit right now.
Yeah.
He's 100% of it.
But I think you're right. But I think you're right. If he goes on the exempt, and that might be part of from his agent saying you can't. He doesn't want to go on the exempt. He understands, and he might be saying, "I'll go healthy scratch." That way, he can get his full paycheck.
If D Ross is watching, I want D Ross to confirm this, but I think you get an OTA bonus. So that's the only thing he's missing out on, is that he didn't go to OTAs or anything. He didn't go to shit. He's missing out on roster. Yes, and obviously a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Incentives.
Yeah, performance incentives.
And then
stuff, yeah.
I mean, he's not traveling, so he's not getting that extra little bump for the traveling and all that shit too.
Right.
So I mean, he's losing out a little bit, but he's not hurting. He's making that money.
Right. Yeah, he's not hurting for money, but so
I can do this if he wasn't.
Right. Well, now let me ask you this though, and you guys might know this better than I do. This is curiosity, honestly. In a situation like with Deshaun, let's say that things come down and it gets found out that he was guilty, because obviously this is still being investigated. That's still a potential, even if some things are questionable. Does he have to give any of this money back? Does this count as suspended time? Like, what are the implications if that happens?
I don't see any of the money coming back. I don't think the NFL even pursues it truly. If he ends up being guilty, they'll want to cut ties and just no look. They never mention him again. Pull right here. Pull the Aaron Hernandez.
It nullifies the rest of his contract.
Yeah.
For one, he will never have to give up a fucking dime of the money that he has already.
Okay.
And then he will go to prison and he will get out as a very, very rich man.
Yep. I mean, it's the same thing. If Aaron hadn't killed himself in prison, it'd be the same thing if he ever got parole, which he wouldn't have. But
he wouldn't have. No, he was in jail for the rest of his life.
You never know what can happen in this legal system. But then, like Michael Vick still had loads of money when he got out of jail.
Well, yeah, but he did 18 months, 2 years?
Yeah, it wasn't a substantial amount of time, but I mean, and if it's 26 counts, Deshaun's never getting out, never.
But that's the thing, is he still hasn't been charged with anything.
No,
so and that's
since you brought it here, I did want to say this because it's been going on for a long time now. This whole thing, you figure it's been about 6 to 8 months. I figure in this whole
we're at least at 6 months
time span. So one of the first things that came out when it first came out was this Cal McNeil and Jack Easterby trying to make Deshaun in a bad light, so he had to stay at Houston. Now, with 26 charges, we're way past any thing like that.
Are we?
I mean, no. It's kind of where I'm going with this. To an extent, we should be, but there has been no claims of any misconduct from Deshaun ever. And for 26 charges to just come out of absolutely nowhere. And I know you and me have talked about this, Dan, like NDAs, he could have had a specific person in college and it just went that way every time. And then he moved on and he didn't get that person and it just led to more stuff.
Right. Or maybe he doesn't do it until he gets to the NFL. Continue. Sorry.
And there's all kinds of ways to look at this. But it just, every time we talk about this, and I bring this up on this show because we talk about anything on this show, but every time we talk about this, it is in the back of my head. Is this to make this man look bad? Because it's hard to look at 26 and be like, none of those are true, but on that same note, it just seemed so weird and how it came up and when it came up and all of it.
And I think that the situation that we're looking at here, there's a reason that these are all in civil lawsuits and not in criminal charges as well. Because Houston police have talked to all of these women, or most of them at this point. You're talking to the rest of them. And even that have come forward, they're working on it, at least. And so now you have those conversations.
You should have
all of the forensic evidence that they've got. I mean, and all of the forensic evidence that they would be able to potentially collect. And you're going to sit there and tell me with 26 different women making these claims,
no charges placed,
and there's still no charges. I'm not saying the man's innocent, but what I'm saying is if there's evidence that he's done something, what's the delay? Why isn't he in jail? Because he should. If that's the case, it should be. But
I'm just throwing stuff out real quick, Tony. Who has more money, the Houston Texans or Deshaun Watson?
Houston Texans.
Why do you think that all of these women seem a little bit regarded in putting a lot of these reports in and things like that? They almost seem like they're like, well, I guess I have to do it. They already got their fucking money. In one theory of this, they've already been paid for this. I'm going to throw you a different thing out there. They've already been paid for this. What does it look like when this guy who they have invested $250 million in says that he wants out because he ain't in with all the weird shit they're doing?
So here's the thing. I want to say this. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say because of one person, and that is Bill O'Brien. Deshaun loved Houston. He loved the Texans. The person who soured on him and like turned him against the team was what Bill did in trading away his best receiver and all of that shit. So
I think Deshaun Watson wasn't that good of a quarterback in the first place, for one. I don't know who's putting him on. I don't know who's putting him on like a upper echelon tier of quarterbacks, but he's not.
He's
10 to 15
years. I mean,
he's a freak athlete. Here's the where I have questions with this whole scenario. And this is something that Dan and I can really, hit on, because last week when Derek Ross was on our show, he talked about, he didn't give any specifics, so nobody get weird, but he mentioned that the Chiefs were sweeping things under the rug for Larry Johnson, and then they got rid of him before he broke the rushing record for the Chiefs because they didn't want to have his name up there. Okay? Now, obviously, knowing the type of person that Larry Johnson is post-football and seeing how fucking crazy that guy is. He's awesome.
I mean, he was a talented football player. Don't get me wrong. He's a talented football player, but
he's eccentric.
He's like a black Alex Jones, but like if Alex Jones,
God.
Here's the thing. Here's a perfect if Alex Jones and Pat Roberts had a black baby and he was really good at football, it would be Larry Johnson.
It probably was Larry Johnson.
It probably was Larry Johnson, yeah. So it's perfectly clear, and we have it from the horse's mouth that teams do this.
100%.
So it is entirely possible that the reason
this under the rug,
they have been sweeping it under the rug, and these women have already gotten paid. But now that he wants out, Cal goes, "Hey, guess what? You can keep your money. Let's retract those NDAs. Go have fun."
Huh? I mean, that's a valid point that I had not thought about at all. And
because
that's a
here's the thing.
Super valid point.
Do you think when they're paying these guys millions of dollars a year to play a fucking game,
Deshaun Watson got $250 million,
and most of them being kids and they're not going to go out and have a drunken night and do something really fucking stupid, and they're gonna lose $1 million a year over one stupid.
Nope. Yeah, they are definitely 100% covering for these guys if they have a fuck up. Like, let's just like don't be surprised by that. It's just that's the way it is. Even let's take the Deshaun Watson thing out of the picture and look at all the NFL as a whole. It happens. Here's the Chiefs knew about Kareem Hunt knocking that chick out the day after it happened.
Yep.
We found out as a public 4 months later.
Yep. If you don't think the Houston Texans knew about every one of these allegations, if they happened before this, or at least one or two of them, at least one or two, if they didn't know about it, they knew about it the whole fucking time.
When the CBS station in Kansas City put out that altered recording, trying to make Tyreek Hill look bad before, not last season, but season before, it was 2 seasons ago, right? So it was right before the draft. And so after the draft, you have Brett Veach come out. He has to sit there and mention that they didn't think they were going to have to talk tonight. You have Brett Veach. You can tell he was frustrated as they mentioned that they had to tell Tyreek, stay away while you get this resolved. Okay. At that point, when Brett Veach was giving that press conference, not only had he heard that recording, but he already knew that it was altered because the Chiefs had already, and the NFL had already, the unaltered recording.
Right.
These are all facts that have been stated in the media, and you can look it up through the stories.
Just so everybody knows what we're talking about, Tony, you're talking about Tyreek Hill's. It was like a voicemail that got put out, and it was edited to make it look like he was basically
beating his girlfriend and this kid.
Okay. Right. And then the actual whole voicemail came out, and it's clear that she doctored the voicemails to make it sound like he was beating the children, when in reality, she was the one that was the problem. Right. Just so everybody knows what we're talking about. That's what happened. If you haven't read up on it, it's very interesting.
Very interesting story. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that baffles me with this whole scenario, because I mean, even before we had talked to D. Ross, it's not hard to figure out that these teams take care of their people. You get pulled over and you're drunk. You don't call your attorney. You call the team.
You call your agent.
Or you call your agent. And before you have gotten to the prison, there's somebody there. Your agent's probably there to bail your ass out and take you home. The team already knows about it, and they're doing everything they can to keep it out of the media.
It's a PR blitz of just keeping everything out of PR.
Great example in the TV world. Have you two ever watched Ballers with Dwayne Johnson?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you've never watched that show, it's all motherfucking true. Everything.
It's a little exaggerated.
They exaggerate.
It's TV. It's TV. Of course they exaggerate. But
those things are happening.
Things like that happen all the time. And those are the guys that they're calling. They're calling their money manager. They're calling their agent. They're calling someone. And the moment they hang up with that guy, that agent is calling the people who are going to fix it. His PR guy, the coach, the GM, all of it.
They pay them lots of money.
And that's the thing is when you have in organizations that operate with that much capital and that much value on the line, they can't afford not to be that organized. Like, let's be honest here. Like, we talk about how long, people are surprised at how long it took for the NFL to go from being a not-for-profit organization to actually being a private company. Up until what was it, Dan? Like 10 years ago, the NFL was the league was considered a non-for-profit organization.
Yeah, they were untaxable, I believe.
They were
multi-billion
or 501ac.
Yeah, 501ac.
Lovely.
You've got a $100 billion organization in the NFL that up until a decade ago, was a nonprofit.
The best way to classify it, the best way is they were like churches in the U.S. Just untouchable, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, with better churches with better marketing.
Yeah.
With way better marketing and way better product.
Yeah, way better gear. Yeah, the swag. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a quick break here. We'll go through a few commercials, and when we come back, we're going to dive back into this.
Your controls. No, I'm not touching it.
Okay.
I fuck shit up, and then he gets mad.
Hey, guys.
Yummy.
Thank you for sticking with this. That first commercial was for the Pinfall podcast, which airs Sunday nights right here on Pinfall at 10:05 Eastern, right?
Yeah, 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock to 10 or 9 o'clock to 9:05, somewhere in that time range. And yes, 10:05
Eastern. Featuring Josh and Will going into all things wrestling. It's our flagship show, obviously, where we get the name for our network right here at Pinfall. Definitely check that out. That next commercial was for Drop the Mic, which airs every other Tuesday. It will air tomorrow night, featuring Josh and Kay Josh and Pun. Josh and Pun as they get into
it was him that screwed up this time. It wasn't me. I won't get in trouble.
I'm used to getting yelled at by women. They go into all things music related. Sometimes I produce that, but unfortunately I have to work tomorrow. But they get into all things music related. Great conversation. Definitely check it out. And the opposite Tuesdays that Drop the Mic does, that Drop the Mic runs, you have a really good podcast, which is Josh and Kay. Again, 10 Eastern. And they go into all things, movie and TV related. Again, lots of great convo, a lot of good things to talk about, new releases, what's going on in those worlds. Definitely check it out. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors, Gamerware. Use the code XXP on their website to get 10% off your order. And of course, Raise Energy and repsports.com. Use the codes Pinfall or GGN10 for 15% off their website. And don't forget to check out their limited time white peach flavor. All their energy drinks are 0 sugar and very healthy for you. Definitely check them out. And also, as always, a big shout out and thank you to Derek Ross, who was with us last week. Check out his clothing line, D39 Ross on Facebook. Clothes made athletes clothing line that's actually affordable. You can order right through the page right there. Send him a message. Let him know that Tony and Dan from the Sports Report After Dark sent you. That supports us, and we greatly appreciate it. So let's take a look at this. Now, so we were talking about the whole Deshaun Watson thing. Obviously, teams know when their players do something bad before we ever find out. Do you think there's ever going to be a point where it actually blows up into their faces that they have that much control over the information?
I think that Houston management knew about a lot of that, and they were just keeping it in their back pocket. That's an insurance plan if I've ever heard one before.
Yeah, what he's asking, is there a point where it's going to blow up to the point where the media basically somehow finds out first before they can put their spin on it, squash it, whatever, and it blows up in their faces to a point where their whole system of trying to beat it is null and void.
So you're saying it could have happened without Houston's?
No, so like, is there what I'm saying is like, is there going to be a point where like the NFL having this much control over the information
is going to blow up in their face?
Is going to blow up in their face?
Yeah.
I mean, probably not. They have control of the information.
I agree with Dan. To me, you look at it like politics and all that shit because it's the same
Josh,
shit.
Exactly what I really did too.
It's the same shit.
Yep.
It's never blown up in a politician's face bad enough to like destroy the way we do politics and all that. Like things still happen. Like they basically it works the same way with them. They have their campaign managers like or chief of staff or whatever is the first person they call when something goes down, and they're calling everybody they need to call to try and squash it.
And we're talking about a lower level too, Josh.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lower level.
Yeah.
So it's not even close to that political regime. You know what I'm talking about? Like that's all.
No, but it is definitely a comparison that's accurate, I think. It really is.
I don't because of it truly, like, think about it. Powerful companies in the United States. You got Walmart, you got Amazon, you got the NFL. And yes, I use because like they are truly one of the most powerful fucking companies in the United States. They have a lot of control. You don't realize, but the NFL has lobbyists in Congress lobbying for things they want. Less CTE restrictions, blah blah blah.
It's a little lower level than
but here's the thing though, and I think that you're right, but like let's look at it this way, okay? If we were to, without permission or without proper process, show a clip of an NFL game, just a clip.
If it were more than 10 seconds, tell you from experience, if it's more than 10 seconds, if they don't shut you down immediately, if it's more than a minute, you're like your stream is literally just going to cut off. Cut it off midstream.
It will just cut it.
No, literally.
I know.
Because it's one of the NFL is one of those groups that's got an amazing algorithm. They get alerted right the fuck away as soon as someone is showing their shit online.
Right.
So if it's more than a minute, I think it would take them probably about a minute to shut the stream down if it's airing live. And if it's between that and 10 seconds and 60 seconds, you wouldn't even finish the broadcast, depending on where you are in the broadcast, before your shit is blocked.
Josh, I will give either one of you two $100 if you can recite the entire thing at the end of any NFL films thing where they say the dissemination, the rights to dissemination. If you can do the whole thing all the way through, I'll give you $100 right now. Go.
I don't think I know. I'm too stoned.
You can't do it?
No, but here's the thing.
A couple lines in it, but I'm like, fuck.
But here's the counter to that though. Let's say that some asshole rips one of our videos off of YouTube, puts it onto his own page, and blasts it. It's gonna run. Nothing, not a goddamn thing's gonna happen. It's just gonna run.
Yeah.
And even though it's not their
content, actually help us.
I mean, but that's how we see it.
Yeah.
But that's how much control Disney
and money
and the NFL, that's how much control and money that they have. Also the NBA and Major League Baseball, they're going to be up there too, of course. I'm not pretending like they're ignorant, but
NFL, as far as sports leagues go in the United States,
it is the American pastime.
The top dog.
The American pastime.
It's been the American pastime for a long time.
For a while, 40 years.
And it was, and I can tell you when it happened. The 94 baseball strike is when they lost it completely.
when everyone was like, nah.
Yeah, that's what well, I mean, like you were saying in Sports Report today, that's before the Bonds, McGuire, Sosa era. They say baseball, and it's actually really funny you brought that up. I was telling someone a story, and I couldn't figure out what year it was, and you just remind me. So Halloween 1994, my mom dressed me and my brother up as striking baseball players. We had signs that said, "We'll work for candy." We'll play for candy.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
But Major League Baseball lost. That was when Major League Baseball lost. When they lost the title of America's pastime.
And they will never, ever,
Hey.
unless the NFL folds.
Josh.
Nope. They got if they let the steroids in, that game will come back.
Okay. Yeah.
I knew you were going. I knew you were going.
If every player on the team is popping.
Every player looks like Barry Bonds in 2004. Just up there, like it's literally like his bat's so small.
He looks like he's playing with one of those wiffle ball bats you get at the fucking dollar store, man. You ever watch that stuff?
Like high heat baseball game on PC where everyone's fucking jacked out of their mind, like NFL blitz style. What is
backyard baseball?
In real life?
Backyard baseball. Backyard baseball.
Every other batter is a homer. Every other batter is a homer.
Every other, no.
Because
they would have to install. They would have to install. Like, you only get 4 batters at a time because you get 4 batters up and each one of them just cracks.
Just dingers. There's like sweet toads and shit. Yeah,
they would have to put nets.
Baseball right now.
But Major League Baseball would have to put nets actually up in the outfield so that they can stop balls from leaving the park in those open air fields, so they don't lose all those balls.
If that happens, that's when we get into shit like new ages. Did y'all ever watch Futurama? That's when we start to get into slurm ball. Mm-hmm. That's when we're going to start to get into slurm ball.
Start doing it, Josh. Let's start doing fucking slurm ball.
It's just like it's something that Dan said multiple times, including on this show. Chicks dig the long ball. In the NBA, fans dig the dunks.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you put that juice in there, sure, we're not going to have any more Max Scherzers. We're not going to have you're not going to have any more Randy Johnson.
Pitcher will be dead. The pitcher will not exist.
It won't be dead.
It won't be dead, but it's definitely going to be a different game because you're going to be more about where are you going to pitch that ball to control where they're hitting it, which is one of the things that they do.
It'll break down who the great pitchers are, and it will break them down even to a smaller number.
Max
Scherzer still going to be fucking good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
and what would happen is instead of having
but do you think that
8 no-hitters by May, we'll have maybe 1 or 2 a year?
Yeah.
I don't want a no-hitter.
And that's the thing.
I got to say, it's a great statistic, but it's one of the most boring games you'll ever watch.
Thank you, Josh.
And that's the thing is if you look at ratings on those games, after the 4th inning, they completely drop until the 8th. Yeah. And then people will start tuning back in if he's still throwing a no-hitter or if the score is close so that they can see how it
finishes history.
Right. But
I need all these motherfuckers looking like Jorge Soler last year. Remember that dude? Did you ever see him for the Royals? Jesus. I need Ketel Marte. I need Ketel Marte just all day long. Like just huge Cuban dudes.
Ketel Marte is fucking knocking him out right now, dude. He's one of the best hitters in baseball.
I need
also juicing.
He's on every team. I need the New York
but question.
On every team.
Question. You get to a point where everybody's juicing. Like I said, y'all say it doesn't kill pitching in the major leagues, but
because you'll have pitchers that are juicing too.
Because they can juice too.
They could juice too, yes. But
the beauty of it,
I could see this being where you maybe start to take out the human element of the pitcher, bring in a robotic pitcher, bring in a pitching machine.
Josh, that takes away.
You bring things like this up.
that takes and I don't think that that's ever going to work. I don't think that there's any way you can actually do that with even with modern baseball. There's no way.
He's talking about a pitching machine.
I know, but that's the thing is it.
A little bit more sophisticated of what I'm thinking.
There's
yes. I'm not arguing with you.
I can kind of see what you're saying in that, but I don't think that that's ever going to work. I just think it's going to change how pitchers are graded.
I mean, you're already looking in minor leagues. They're testing out a system that a computer actually scans each pitch and calls it strike or fair.
Josh, this is as much as this will change Major League Baseball. Let me tell you how much. A good ERA will go from being 2.50 to 3.50. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what'll happen. And they'll give up about probably a time and a half more homers a year. So take 32 to 45 or whatever the fuck that math is. You get the point. That's all it'll do. It ain't gonna do much. It's not. I'm just telling them, let them all juice, man. We need some gladiators out here. This is all they are anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
they want to do this.
It's I mean, like even what Derek was talking about last week, like you have to love that game to be that dedicated to it, especially how long a baseball season is. That's 9 months a year.
It's the longest season
of any professional sport.
It's 9 months in the year. You figure though, like it is one of the only professional major league jobs. It's almost year round. Like they literally get a month off after, depending on when your season ends. You get, let's say you take a World Series champion. Their season will end of October, beginning of November, I think, is when the World Series is planned. So the new season, they will have to report, I believe, in January.
It's third week of February. It's usually right around my birthday. Yeah, it's right around my birthday when they have to report. There is consistently less than 90 days between the last game of the World Series and when pitchers and catchers have to report, which is the start.
The NBA
that is just their actual report date. Most of those guys have already been there, already been doing. Most Major League Baseball players, World Series champions, is just going to take about a month. 3 weeks to a month off, and then they're right back at it. In professional athlete world, that's unheard of. NBA, even the winner of the NBA gets 3 months.
Josh, we also didn't. You do also have to factor in the realistic part that 22 of those teams are not playing at all.
Yes. And that's what I'm just taking. I'm taking the
end of the line.
Yeah, the end of the line, but. Right. Also, yes, you're right. Most of the teams, it's 2 months? Still, that's not a lot of time. You figure NFL, they get almost 4 or 5, close to 6-ish months.
And that's a contact sport.
And that's a serious contact sport.
Yeah.
OTAs start. So OTAs, OTAs start in beginning of June. So you're looking, 4 months is what they get at a minimum. But those are voluntary. If you don't want the extra bonuses for them, you can wait until
you don't have to go. And that's
what,
mid-August,
July, August. Yeah. So, in most of these guys, like, and what they'll do is even when they're on vacation, they'll still work out for 2-3 hours a day. So even when they're on vacation, they still got stuff they're working at. Yeah, and that's why I don't have a problem with these guys making all that money, because, like, especially those top end guys, like you got guys like Brady, Wilson, Mahomes, these guys are spending over $1 million a year just for nutritionists. Or not just for nutritionists, but just on their body to keep it in shape.
Tony, we've talked about this personally. I'm saying, like, I'm not actually even trying to make these dudes gladiators and like somehow sacrifice them to like the holy orb of professional sports or anything like that. This actually helps them physically.
Yeah, because it helps with, that's what it does. It helps with recovery.
It regenerates your muscle fiber. That is what testosterone does the best out of anything. So once you burn that muscle fiber, it regenerates it really quick so you can build more muscle fiber. It is not bad for you. I hate this shit where it's like, makes your nuts small, makes you freak out on people, makes you fucking, what?
Look at,
what? No,
look at,
good for you.
Look at Alex Rodriguez. is a prime example. He went through, like, one of the reasons why his case was so big with that doping scandal was because of how intricate the process was that he went through for using these performance enhancers. It was almost like what they were doing was he would use them, like, get built up, and then they would filter it completely out of his blood.
Hey, Tone.
Yeah.
I need you to sweat it out and turn your fucking fan off real quick. Right behind you.
But you've got the... No, it's Josh's.
What are y'all hearing?
It's
like a... You don't hear that? That's not me.
Yeah, because hold on, watch.
Yep, it's Josh.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't I get it?
But it's...
I hear absolutely nothing.
Yeah. We hear it, though. No, but that's the thing that's what frustrates me about this is there is... I mean, especially when you look at guys like Alex Smith. We'll use Alex Smith as a prime example because I absolutely love Alex Smith. Coming back from that broken leg, if he would have had the aid of these performance enhancers that everybody's bitching about, he would have been able to actually take Washington deep last year. Because Taylor Heineke, and to his credit, Taylor Heineke gave the Bucs a run for their money. Statistically, he was the best quarterback that the Bucs faced in their run to the Super Bowl. You can look up the numbers. But the unfortunate...
Josh, I hate to do this, bro. I need you to stop your audio at this point.
No,
it's so loud on my end. I can literally... Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Like, holy fuck.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No, you're good. I'm tired. I've got to be up at 6:30 in the morning.
We're gonna be wrapping up in about 10 minutes anyway. So
what is that?
I seriously don't hear it. I have no idea what y'all are hearing.
Against it.
Yeah, there's nothing in here that's clicking or anything. I have no idea.
I know you know a lot about this. I already hear enough voices in my head. I don't need like another sound just off to the side. Because that's what now it just got louder. Way louder.
I have no idea. No idea.
Alien energy? You're an alien, aren't you? This is
what I have no idea.
We figured it out.
But
okay.
All right.
Thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. Have a good night.
I love you, buddy. We'll see you soon.
No problem, guys. Have a good night.
Your hair looks great.
I was waiting for that.
Your hair looks fucking great, bro. You look like a pro wrestler, man. Every time I see you, I'm like, that motherfucker is gonna just break into WWE at some point.
Dude,
that's what's gonna be. Or
not to get off on a rant with it, whatever it's doing, but I told my wife, I think about it sometimes going to wrestling school, and then I think about taking a back bump and not being able to get back up.
Hey, Josh, now I don't hear it as much, for one. You can still kind of hear it.
I have no idea. I'll have to check my audio.
We'll get it figured out.
All right, buddy.
We'll get it figured out for next time. Have a good night, buddy.
See you, man.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I'm just so glad that wasn't just me that was bugging. I feel bad for him.
Dude, I'm sorry. I mean, that's what I got to do, though, right?
No, you're cool. You're cool. You're cool.
I love Josh to death. I think we just figured out that it was definitely him, though. I thought it was me for a second too. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I thought it was fucking me for a second. What the fuck?
But with this, like, you've got, but I mean, you would get like guys like Alex Smith. He would have been able to have a much better end to his career. A guy like Larry Fitzgerald would still be able to sit with somebody to have a shot at a ring. You know, because he deserves one. He deserves one. But I don't know why it's such a big fucking deal at this point.
Roids?
Like as long because we have the resources to know how to do it safely. Like, and that's the thing. You have to make sure that.
Yeah, that's what I just hate to like put across. I think I've said it before, and we talk about it, and like, but we glorify it, right? So like we glorify it, and what happens is that it makes it seem like, oh, well, they're just sacrificing their bodies. They're not sacrificing anything. This is gonna make them better after they're done and everything, dude. Mm-hmm. This helps the body. Like, it is so good, especially if it's done properly and you get that energy out of you. We've talked about it before. The bad rep that steroids get are that people are fucking angry and that their balls shrink and blah, blah. Hey, if your fucking balls shrink, then your dick gets bigger. Just for anybody who wants to fucking say anything about that. Am I wrong? I'm sorry. I'll listen. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. So, so the balls get smaller. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And they get angry. Dude, if you get that fucking emotion out of you, you're just uplifting your testosterone. You're just making yourself a bigger, stronger athlete. And if you get it out, it's okay.
Here's the deal. Here's the truth of that. What that is because we have these, because like if you go to your local GNC or local health store that sells workout supplements, you walk in, you tell them, hey, I'm going to start working out. They'll give you a pre-workout, something to drink during the workout, and a post. Okay. Right. All three of them. That's what they're going to send you out with. You're going to spend like $400. You're going to have one of each when you're working out. Now, here's the thing. If you drink that pre-workout and then don't work out, you will lose your fucking mind. And if you drink the pre-workout, you get going in the workout, you start drinking the workout, and you don't finish your workout and work out enough, you will lose your fucking mind. And if you don't drink that post-workout shake, the next morning when you wake up or later on in that day, depending on when you work out, you're going to feel like you got run out by a fucking bus.
You will lose
your fucking mind.
Yeah.
So we can't just pretend that just because it's over that name of a steroid, this workout shit that you can go buy at GNC or whatever, it's the same goddamn thing. It's just fucking legal. Or it's socially approved. That shit isn't approved by the FDA.
No.
They don't approve any of that shit. They're like, we're not going to touch it. I mean,
Tony, I've told you on the show before, I have fucking taken steroids before, bro. Like I've taken synthetic testosterone before. It is fucking magical. It is freaking magical. I was also playing collegiate sports at the time that I was doing it. So let's just preface it with that. But it was fucking magical.
And that's the
magical.
It's we have to stop. There's stigmas around certain things. Like there is studies that prove that you can use microdosing cyclobin, which is magic mushroom.
Psilocybin.
Whatever.
Psilocybin, Tony. You're not up on your. All right, that you're not up on your psychedelics. You have
tomato. It's whatever.
So weird because I have done a lot of them.
So you can microdose that to treat PTSD, and it's more effective in a majority of cases. I can't remember the exact number, so I don't want to look like a jackass and cite it. But in a majority of cases, it was more effective than the medicines that you can go get at a pharmacy.
This is not any kind of conspiracy trying to do anything for psychedelics at all. This is a true fact that you are speaking right now.
Yeah.
Psilocybin mushrooms are, I can say this without a doubt, and I'm not going to sit here and quote statistics because I don't know them that well, but psilocybin is by far the greatest antidepressant that has ever been discovered by mankind. I'm going to say that again. Psilocybin mushrooms, magic mushrooms. Somebody tells you to fucking take some mushrooms and you trip out. That's the greatest antidepressant in the history of mankind. Hands down.
There was some research done using soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder. And they were given psilocybin and taken through a trip. And then they microdosed from that point on. And it was like, and the exact description is it was like an emotional reset. They felt like a brand new person and had complete control. Exact description.
It repairs synapses in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It repairs connections in your brain.
With these different things, like with my issues, ADHD, bipolar, depression, this complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The anxiety, it's all what those are is those neurotransmitters misfiring
and not as much as they should.
Or like in some cases with anxiety, it's overfiring, depression, it's underfiring. Like there's so many different things. And that's why medicine, that's why things like cannabis and psilocybin are more effective, because what they're actually doing is regulating it.
Right.
These synthetic medicines, like they try to inhibit or regulate or anything like that, but it's using, because it's synthetic, it's not being processed. No, bodies don't process synthetic materials the same way.
We're not used to these new ass drugs. You can't just create something and be like, hey, human body, be okay with this.
Exactly.
Not how it works.
And so when you leave, when you take these medicines that are working, but you're going to tell athletes, hey, you have to put your body on the line, but we're not going to give you the best possible way to recover. You have to do it in a difficult way because of the integrity of the game. Are you fucking kidding me?
What are we talking? Okay, so I get the only reason why it's even an issue, and we've talked about this. The only reason why it's even an issue is because some dudes would do it and have, ironically, a bigger ball sack, and some dudes wouldn't do it. Seriously, some dudes wouldn't do it and they'd be like, oh, they're just beating us because they're no, motherfucker, they're beating you on a regular basis because they're just better. They were better before you took it, or whether you're off of it or not. So you might as well just get on it, because it's obviously helping them in some way, right?
You're not going to find very many hitters that are going to be able to step up to the plate with the same efficiency as Barry Bonds. Ty Cobb and Pete Rose are two of maybe 3 or 4 that could do it. And now Pete Rose is the best pure hitter in baseball. But on the long ball, you're not going to find somebody that's going to do it better than Barry Bonds.
Pete Rose and Barry Bonds is, if you would have had like a video game and it was like, what we play, it would be their eye would be like at 160, right? So like in the middle of
absolutely.
Their discipline would be like at 100. Like it would just be like 100. Like plate discipline would be 100.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't take pitches they didn't want. And that's the best thing about Barry Bonds, that whole fucking time. You watch those roided up. Dude, that dude at some point weighed 250 pounds of 6'3", just nastiness. Like he was going out there, and this dude looked like he looked like he was swinging a peewee bat at some point.
He did.
He used a little tiny bat. He used to break them all the time. He used to fucking break them in half with the barrel.
He used the smallest bat he was allowed to by MLB rules.
That
consistently.
Motherfucker,
that big ass dude,
would fucking hit a baseball if you put it in the right spot. That motherfucker for a second was hitting a base. Dude, it doesn't matter. Just put it there. See ya. There's nothing else that happens. It just goes bam.
Could you imagine some of the numbers we would have on exit velocity if we would have been tracking that in the steroid era off of his stuff?
Tony,
bro.
Show one night. You looked it up on the show one night. He went 1,300 OPS.
No, I'm talking
consecutive seasons.
Exit velocity of pitches off of his bat.
Right.
Yeah, but okay, I see what you're saying. Sorry.
No. Exactly what exit velo would have been ridiculous. He was raking, like quite literally raking. He hit more balls into that McCovey Cove than you didn't even know McCovey Cove was there until Barry Bonds started hitting balls into it.
It's like it was almost like he was actually swinging with a tennis racket, but he had the smallest bat he could.
He just isolated an area of the strike zone and just went, if you fucking throw anything right here, I'm gonna torch you. And they literally just got so scared of this little area right here that you couldn't throw it in, that they would throw away from him the whole time because they couldn't not hit this one area because it was bigger than anybody else's area ever. Like it was just this big.
Yep.
It's like you throw it anywhere in here, it's gonzo. I'm fucking raking that thing.
He could hit
doubles.
He could hit a home run from pretty much with a pitch from pretty much any spot in the strike zone, depending on what it was. If it was in the strike zone, and even some of that stuff that was away that was still out, even though he had a smaller bat, stuff that was inside that normally guys wouldn't even touch, they would just take the ball on. Gone.
So within this conversation that we're having, we're going to jump back to it real quick. Barry Bonds took steroids, guys. Just in case anybody doesn't know on the show, anybody who's watching or anything like that, if you're sensitive, can we just throw it out there? If you didn't know that Barry Bonds took steroids, you're an idiot for one. And 2, he took steroids. The guy fucking juiced from like fucking 99 to goddamn 2010 or whatever. Who fucking cares? Everybody else was too. Okay, if you don't know that, maybe
there was a completely different energy in baseball. We talk about we talked about the Field of Dreams game this year, which was again spectacular. That was the highest rated baseball game, regular season baseball game in 16 years. So at 2021, that puts it as the highest rated baseball game since the 2005 season, as far as regular season.
I believe the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox combined for 5 home runs in that game. If my memory serves me correctly, I believe it was a lot, right?
Yeah.
If you don't think that Major League Baseball wants this to be like Sammy Sosa's high heat baseball on Microsoft 2001, where we just go fucking homer, double off the wall, crazy strikeout, homer, and this thing's ending 12-10. If you don't think Major League Baseball wants it like that, that's how Major League Baseball wants it.
That's there's a reason why guys like Tatis and Joey Gallo and all of these different bigger name power hitters are the ones that are getting all of the attention. It's because just like when Tim Anderson stepped up in the bottom of the ninth for the White Sox, that stroke just said, and it was gone. That
I want to point out, Tony, just so you know, I just need to feed my ego a little bit. I actually did call that before it happened.
I remember. Yeah, we talked about that.
I actually told you that, I believe that night or the next day. I said, I just called that out loud before it happened. I said that Tim Anderson's going to Tim Anderson, this dude could end it right now. I don't like this at all. And the next pitch was like, I was like, oh, there you go. I'm just going to walk off right now because this sucks.
So on the Cardinals and Vikings game, because one of the things they were talking about beginning of the game by the way, Aqib Talib, great job.
He did do
color. I was impressed. I really was.
Do you know what?
He's not punching little people. He does a great job calling a football game.
I'm going to give you a white guy. I'm going to give you a Nebraska white guy perspective right now.
Okay.
It literally sounded like they had a guest color analyst on that broadcast when I first started listening to it. And then I actually started listening to Aqib Talib, and I was like, this dude's fucking good, bro.
Like, he was predicting good, like Romo.
I thought it was like an ex-player that they were like bringing on, right? That's just an honest reaction.
Yeah.
And I literally started listening to him, and I was like, that's the colored guy. And I was like, not the colored guy, the color guy. Just
right.
Let's obviously not make the color guy, not the colored guy. Okay. Just to make that completely clear. No, he was fucking great, dude. All of this shit was like fucking spot on. He had like the player's perspective on it. It was great. And I was like, dude, yes, this is what we're going to start doing.
I would watch, like I said, it reminded me of the first time I watched Romo call a game, because he was predicting plays. He was calling stuff out. Oh, hey, they're going to do this. I have to respect it. Sure, he played for the Broncos for a while, and maybe he punched some people, but who amongst us hasn't? I'd watch him call a game again.
I think Aqib Talib is a Hall of Fame caliber corner.
Absolutely. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know if he's going to get there because it's going to be like, I don't know. I mean, because honestly, they're not going to be. When your voice jumps out, best corner ever, it definitely doesn't have Aqib Talib in it immediately, but he's definitely he's definitely an upper tier guy. The guy's.
He's better than some of the guys that are in. And I think that's really one of the things. I'm not saying he needs to be first ballot. I don't think that's not, because I think this year is going to be his first year. Or he's getting close. But I'm not saying he needs to be first ballot, but he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He 100%. Was really good at what he did.
He's one of the bounciest athletes I've ever seen. Like he could like literally when he got up and he could jump with it. Like dude was a springboard kind of shit. Like it was real quick. Like dude could jump like a motherfucker, and he was super fast. Like, yeah, Dude was legit for a second.
He was
6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, he was dominant. And I mean, and honestly, if you're going to let Calvin Johnson get in the Hall of Fame, which for his time in the league, he did great. I'm not against him being in the Hall of Fame. So don't you. I don't have a problem with it.
Good.
Let me be clear.
Okay.
But if we're going to talk about short careers as a reason for not, but you're going to have him in the Hall of Fame, no, I'm sorry, but that argument is just useless. I'm not saying he was as impactful on defense as Calvin was on offense, but I'm just saying you can't use that I don't think you can use that because the Hall of Fame is about, the impact they had on the game for their time. You can't control that, especially with how physical the game is now.
Tony, I just specifically don't like your tone about Calvin Johnson right now. Like Megatron.
I don't have a problem with Megatron. I love Megatron. I love how much shade he's throwing to the Lions.
Dude,
I think that's fucking
players of all time. Do you want to see an NFL draft combine, bro? Go back and look up Calvin Johnson's. They call him Megatron. Look up his fucking NFL combine statistics. This motherfucker was 6'5", 241 pounds and ran a 4.3 140-yard dash. He had a 43-inch vertical.
That's what two tenths of a second faster than Tyreek's. That's only 2/10 of a second faster than Tyreek's, or slower than Tyreek's 40 time. Just to put that in perspective.
How are we guarding that again?
Exactly.
Who's taking that guy? Because it ain't fucking me. I'll tell you that much. That's what everybody on the other team was saying. They were like, "No, please, no."
I mean, like, he's one that you
have to, and they're like, "No."
It's just like with what the Ravens had to do with Tyreek yesterday. You've got to double cover him. You can't not double cover Megatron.
Take the top off the defense. Randy Moss, take the top off the defense.
Okay.
84 jerseys out.
What I was gonna say was,
Tony,
I was
84 jerseys out. No, I'm sorry. You ever seen one clap? Have you watched one clap on YouTube? I don't know if I can say YouTube on here. Can I say YouTube?
You're fine.
Okay. There's a video on YouTube called Randy Moss One Clap. Check it out. It's hilarious. It's like a fucking music video of him just in locker rooms and stuff. It's great.
I will check it out.
It's 84 jerseys out.
But they were talking in the Vikings game yesterday. They kept talking about how they weren't, they had been so long without an offensive penalty, without a penalty on offense, no problems. And then I was sitting there while I was listening to him call that game against the Cardinals. And I was watching, all of a sudden I was just like, they're going to jump. And then split second later, they get their first penalty. And that's when the Vikings start to fall apart.
Yeah.
It was, and that's the thing is, it's just like it's almost like there's times like with us as fans, like, especially as long as we've been watching, like there's times where we're like, no, something's happening. Like it's just, you can almost sense it.
The Minnesota Vikings as a team for a while have been completely centered on the only fact it's literally Kirk Cousins' psyche. Like, how is Kirk Cousins going to come to work today? Is really what it is. Like I think sometimes Kirk Cousins he is ingrained in mediocrity, especially after he got that fucking big ass deal from them. Mediocrity is safe. I think he's a safe guy.
Yep.
I think he's a controlled guy. I think he's thinking about his family a lot. And I think that he wants to play out the remainder of his contract so he can retire somewhere where he wants to retire and get the fuck out of football forever and not give a shit about what the fuck else happens because he did his fucking job for a second and made a bunch of money and he's going to go retire now.
And here's the thing. Once his contract is done, we will never hear from him again.
Love it.
He will be gone. And I have no problem with it. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit because you can't sit there and think that he's not going to, ESPN calls, hey, you want to come be a color analyst for us sometimes on Monday Night Football? Really. With how much they raked his ass over the coals for his entire career, he's going to laugh and hang up the phone.
And, Kirk Cousins looks like a dude who makes good investments, let's be honest. He kind of looks like your accountant.
I mean, yeah. And that's the thing is he's going to be, he's going to disappear. He doesn't want to work for these networks that have spent his entire career, busting his balls.
Do you think he's going to go?
He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Sure, he's a mediocre player in the NFL. He's still in the top, 1/100% of athletes in the world.
That motherfucker's made $200 million over an athletic career. You ain't no fucking scrub, bro.
Nope.
You ain't no fucking scrub.
Nope.
You're a G. Like, that dude is a freak, bro. He's a freak.
And I admit that he grabbed that bag and he's holding on to it. And Minnesota shouldn't have. And Minnesota may regret paying him as much as they did. I don't blame him. I'm speaking from a business side.
Oh, Minnesota organization, yeah,
right. But hold on. I was seeing, I was like, is there really one that could be kind of worse for that? And then it hit me almost instantly. I'm going to take you back. You remember when Joe Flacco went to the Broncos and they signed him to a 5-year deal and he didn't even make it to the end of the season?
Yeah. It was like 5 years, 150 or something like that.
Yeah, it was some stupid. It was 180 million. 5 years, 180 million.
Tony, how much have we heard from Joe Flacco? Not a whole lot.
I think he's done some color stuff. I think he's popped in. I think he's popped in a couple of times. Like, I mean, yeah, no,
he ain't diving over any goal lines. I'll tell you that much.
Nope.
He's already set up. He's got his stuff all.
Mark Sanchez is getting a call to go back to the NFL before Joe Flacco does. I'm just wait. Oh no, wait, hold on. Actually, I think he's on somebody's roster. I just thought about this. I heard his name. Hold on.
But he is. But he's officially let himself go at this point. You know that, right? Like, he's officially let himself go. D. Ross would.
He's now I remember why this is so funny. Joe Flacco is a backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, what better way to finish Joe Flacco's career? Just what a better way. He knows that too. Don't
he's like
stupid. He ain't stupid. Not stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I have a theory. This just hit me, and I think I'm pretty accurate here. Has anybody ever actually seen Joe Flacco and Mark Sanchez in the same room together?
They don't even look the same, Tony. They don't even look the same. They really don't.
Joe
Flacco has a horse face. Good looking cat, but dude's head is fucking huge, bro. It's like this big. Like, you took Mark Sanchez's and cut it by like 6 inches, then yeah, you have Mark Sanchez, I guess, maybe. But nobody's ever going to overlook that forehead, bro. That forehead is not going away.
That's Peyton-esque. It really is.
They're going to know it's not Mark Sanchez.
He actually he doesn't look bad. Like, especially for how much. Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez is a great looking dude.
Yeah, he's really.
That guy's fucking great looking.
For all that time he spent getting his ass kicked, he looks pretty good.
All the skin. As many, the CT just growing in there, just growing. He still looks great. He's out there just not being crazy. Shit. It'll kick in, Mark. You're fine. It'll kick in.
It'll kick in.
You butt fumbled, so it's inevitable.
It's only a matter of time.
He's just,
all right.
Hey, take comfort in the fact that Mark Sanchez is living a very comfortable life.
And he really isn't bad as an announcer. There are others that I would listen to, but he isn't bad.
I like Mark Sanchez. I can say that out loud.
Yeah.
Buddy, I like Mark Sanchez. He's a great looking dude, and if he kills himself and then kills 4 other people in the same day, then that'll be bad. But if before that, great guy.
Now, I think Mark Sanchez's going crazy moment is probably going to be like he's going to like pull a terrorist attack on an abortion clinic or something. Like that's good. He looks like the type of guy that would do that. Yeah.
And like political. Like it's
just
he's
just gonna pop up as Trump's running mate or something.
He comes back to life after suicide bombing himself. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us. Yes, we are horrible people, and we will be back to disappoint you next week.
Just do?
I don't know. If we're not in jail next week, we'll see you.
Yeah, maybe.
Have a good night.